Long, long ago, a monkey appeared. He seemed a little weird. His origins were unknown, yet he was all alone. He was disoriented and confused. His peers offered to help, yet he refused. Alone and fearful, he began his journey, but it seems it was a bit too early. Yet to then despair, his determination shined like a flare. Moving mountains, trampling crops, chopping wood, none of that mattered. At last, his fear has shattered. Displaying his resilience and might quickly became his right, but nothing mighty lasts forever. He was taken as swiftly without trouble whatsoever. Engulfed in blinding hatred, he steadily became motivated. He set out in search of power, yet requirements were all that he could acquire. Distraught and dejected, he thought of a plan. Thus, his journey began. First, he ventured to the deep cavern, but he quickly returned to his tavern. Combat experience is a must, yet he doesn't even have equipment that he can trust. His pockets are limited and money is finite, but he wished to be geared by night. Survivability was essential, but damage also had potential. His choices were not smart, but they were made by his heart. The caverns were not a threat anymore, but it wasn't as rewarding as before. As in every story, the hero must be consumed by greed for glory. A checkpoint was reached, a stage of the game was breached, or so he preached. He self-proclaimed himself as a mid-game player, but that soon became his prayer. Combat XP was still essential, and the crypts promised potential. A shabby, zombie-infested path led to the crypts, but it seemed a little chipped. As he arrived in the crypt, he didn't even consider that the zombies might be ripped. It didn't take long for him to surrender. All it took was one defender. Although he died, nothing could break his stride. Armor is what he lacked, and he knew that as a fact. Upgrading it was a must, so he was quick to adjust. Prepared and freshly equipped, he once again challenged the crypt. He swung his axe left and right to begin the fight and emerged victorious to his delight. Conquering his new foe, he didn't know where to go. Remembering his shameful defeat, he knew he was incomplete. As his past haunted him like a ghost, he knew what he needed the most. A weapon and armor that would make him transcend. So his adventure led to the end. His weapon lied ahead. He will obtain it easily, he said. But the end was deadly and ferocious. He didn't think it would be this atrocious. Countless deaths swayed his heart and made him think his approach was not smart. Why must he suffer, if he can just ask someone tougher? He made a quest. It was not the best. He needed someone to aid him with the boss. It didn't matter the cost. Many refused, but one agreed. He easily made him succeed. With his new weapon in hand, once again, he set out to an unknown land. The catacombs were his destination, but he lacked preparation. He visited the auction house, but he was as poor as a mouse. Overconfident and zealous, he attempted something dangerous. He leapt into a dungeon and ran head first. No wonder the outcome was the worst. As he entered through the gates, he realized only death awaits. Following his demise, his hopes once again began to rise. He remembered his party doesn't need real members. He begged in the city until some people began to pity. They joined him on his journey and supported him firmly, raising him to the top so there would be nothing that could make him stop. He was done. There were no enemies left, none. Armor and weapon both acquired. There was nothing left that he desired. Thus his tale came to an end, where JuJu transcends.